So I've had some experiences over the years. It's very unusual that we do have valuation coming low, and we try to anticipate that by quite often we might even meet the valuer, sometimes just hand over our research and don't try to explain or justify it, because then they get their back up because they're like, don't try to sell to me. And it's all right, we're the buyer's agent. We're trying to protect the client from paying too much, but at the same time, we're trying to make your job easy. But I know the house that I live in now, actually, when I bought that, it had been bought a year previously by this couple of young guys who thought they were going to knock it down and redevelop. They thought they were going to subdivide. They did not do any due diligence, this pair, because it's a conservation area. So they had Buckleys of being able to do that. And so a year later, all their dreams of property development all dashed. They decided to sell. And look, the market had been going up, so I paid a bit more than they had paid a year earlier. But it turned out to be the same bank value, the same valuer happened to do it the second time, right? And it came in quite a lot lower. And I'd done all my research, and I was like, well, I could justify where I paid. And they came in a lot lower, and they valued it where they valued it the year before. And it was actually less than the people a year before even paid, right? So, and I went back, and it didn't matter because I didn't, in terms of the LVR, it didn't matter for me because I had enough equity in other property. But at the time I went back to say, look, the reality is that I've got these comps that are really relevant, and I think they stack up well. His justification for not adjusting it was that he did it a year ago, they were wrong, and he was right, and he's still right. Even though 2 sales had happened since he valued it that were for more than what he valued. So the evidence is the market in this case. But he just said, no, I valued it last time and they were wrong then, and they're still wrong, and you're wrong too.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, so
can happen to the best of you.
Yeah.
Like, when I mentioned earlier, like getting into the fights with valuers and banks is not the best. Sometimes you have to, but it's not the best use of time. So when I mentioned before that you want a plan B, okay, this is the most common plan. This is my plan B, right? Which is get a valuation from another bank.
Yeah.
It's like, even like while you're fighting. So when you're looking to get a loan, I'll say from my point of view. So someone's come to me and they're looking to get approval to buy their first home, right? I'm going to go and do some research, and I'm going to write up a list of at least, I might have like a list of 10 banks, but I might show them 3 banks, and say, look, this is the one that looks best. This one's second best, this one's third, and here's why, right? So we get a pre-approval from the bank we think is best. And then let's say there's a problem with the valuation. While we're trying to sort that out, the very first thing we would do is order a valuation from bank number 2 and bank number 3.
Yeah. So it's preemptive strike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we already know that everything else about this person is like the bank's approved everything else. And if one bank's approved it, probably the others will as well. The only issue is the valuation. So while we're fighting with bank A, if bank B and C comes back, and remember, because they're these panel valuers, okay, it might go to the same person. Right? Now we watch that. So if we know that company A, because we get a copy of the report. So we know that company A valued that property low. As we order the second and third ones, we can see who it's assigned to. If it gets assigned to company A, we just cancel it. Why bother wasting our time? And we keep going down the list of banks ordering valuations until one gets assigned to bank B, valuer B. Then we'll keep going until one gets assigned to valuer C. Okay. But then now when they come in, we've now got options, right? Even if nothing else, we've got something to work with, right? But that's the best approach towards plan B, because if you can't turn the valuer around or the bank around, then your only other option is to pull out of the purchase. But maybe you don't want to. Maybe the issue the valuer raised is something you're fine with. The valuer has a problem, the bank has a problem, but you don't. And again, you've done your due diligence and you're happy to buy this property. Well, then you just want to find another bank that will give you the loan.